Welcome. Oh my goodness, we have a great show planned for you today. We're gonna get all kinds of personal and juicy today. Today's episode, we are going to dive into how sex and intimacy is initiated. The thing is that we got a lot of reports from women, some from men, but mostly from women, talking about how sex is initiated. What are some of the things that some of the women told us about how men initiate sex and their perception of how men initiate sex?
Men come and grab your boob.
Yeah.
They grab your chachi.
Yeah.
I don't know, smack your butt, grab your butt.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's no there's no sensuality to it. Let's just put it that way. You know, the thing is that in this episode we're addressing what may be uncomfortable for some people about how sex is initiated once you get behind the closed doors, or if you may be adventurous and tried other places. We give you kudos for that because it means that you have that adventurous side. Now, we're not telling you to go break the law and get arrested for indecent exposure, but we definitely want to make sure that you understand where the largest and the most responsive sexual organ in the body is, and that, of course, is the brain. So we want to make that shift on how sex is initiated between a couple. So we want to go right now to the book and just give you this paragraph here or two. So what do you have for us on that? On the brain, it says, a great misconception is that men think about sex more than women during the day, and our ladies are quite content letting us believe that to be true. The truth is that accounts given by many women show that they think about intimacy more than us men. They are just better at keeping those thoughts at bay or not acting out on it. In fact, many have even found themselves masturbating and having orgasms while in the workplace or even driving in traffic.
When I lived in South Florida, I used to be a field technician, and I know this for a fact because I've seen it with my own two eyes. Yeah, I stopped at a traffic light, and
I guess you got a good shot.
Oh, I was driving a van, so I was sitting up high, and I looked down next to me at the traffic light, at the red light, and there was this attractive woman. She was a blonde woman. I guess she was what you may want to call, for lack of saying labels, but what we will call an exhibitionist. She was wearing a skirt. She was in a convertible. And when she stopped at the light, she hiked her skirt off and started, masturbating right next to me. And I'm looking over, and she didn't seem embarrassed when she looked up and saw me looking over. She just continued doing it. And I guess it was just for the show.
That definitely got her off then. It totally got her off.
It almost got me
you off too, huh?
Almost got me there too. But yes, that's the thing, that women are becoming more liberated now. So again, in that exposure, women, own up to it and stay true to who you are. If that's who you are, own it. So what else we have to see about the brain?
So fantasizing about an erotic hookup activates the area of the brain associated with orgasms and sends arousing oxytocin through your system. This is why experts call the mind a human's largest sex organ, why some women can think themselves off, and why 37% can reach their peak even while they're sleeping. Therefore, if you can tap into your lady's fantasies with a bit of sexy talk, it can be way harder than anything you can do with your hands or lips. If you tend to have some trouble getting started with the dirty talk, Just begin with some sexy compliments about her body or her skills as a lover. Start slowly and take some time to talk about your feelings and reactions to the things you both said in the heat of the moment after the hot steam of sex is over. This certainly is a path to taking your relationship and intimacy to the next level.
Yes. So that's what we're going to dive into today. We're actually going to kind of do our best, and we're going to have a couple episodes on this topic that we are actually going to give you solutions on how to, we're not going to do any live, no, it's not that type of show. We're not going to do any live demonstrations,
No.
but we are going to talk openly about that, and we invite you to, many more of you, to share how do you initiate sex, and if you have better ideas of how to stimulate the brain to initiate it. There's several different ways to do it. One way is through sensual massages. Now that's a 2-for-1 because when you set the mode, you have aromatherapy candles. Of course, that takes a lot of effort, right? So you set the room, you set the mood, dim lights or no lights and just candlelight. You have your massage oils. But here's the thing with the massage oils. You're able to discover, and again, communication is key, but you're able to discover more erogenous zones in your partner's body. The massage should go both ways. So just be patient and just go through it and experience. By doing that, not only are you stimulating the brain, but you're also addressing certain erogenous zones.
Not only that, but when you talk about a massage and you're touching someone's body, maybe you should do a little bit of research to really find out where are those special points of your booty or those special points of your man.
Yeah.
There's a book that you had read on a man's penis and all the points of a man's penis. What's her name? Dr. Jessica O'Reilly,
Yes.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
She has a book, and in her book, she specifically shows a man's penis and touches every single point of a man for you to know where you can arouse him. So that's another way. If you really want to get to know what really turns your man on or your woman on, do the research.
Yeah.
Read some books.
So I know in the beginning of this episode we talked about how, we kind of like picked on the men a little bit about how, for them to initiate sex, they grab a boob, they rub on the booty or just kind of go back to the primitive caveman days of, just grab or touch to try to initiate sex. And many of the times the women will just give in, but they're not being fulfilled or really mentally satisfied. They're left wanting more, and they may even come to get themselves off, but it's just awkward. It's the approach is different. So to have that seamless, but then again, women, sometimes you want to initiate sex too, and what do? Sometimes you grab a man by his crotch, or you approach him in a way that's not stimulating the largest and the most responsive sexual organ. So it goes both ways. It's actually both men and women need to get into stimulating the brain. So how do we approach it? Maybe by having conversations. It's open communication and explaining what arouses you, what images arouses you, what thoughts arouses you, and it varies from time to time.
And that's very true, and that could be a very tough conversation, but it's an important conversation.
Absolutely.
Because when you're in a relationship or you've been married for so many years, you don't want your sex to be stale. You want to continue to have that intimacy, even if you watch porn together. If porn is not your thing, get creative and do something else. If you want to call each other and maybe have a little bit of dirty talk, do some role playing, right? Do some role playing, I can honestly tell you that between Bertram and I, the one thing that absolutely turns me on about him is like if I'm in the kitchen, because I love to cook, okay? I'm in the kitchen, I'm always doing my thing in the kitchen, and I'm super focused. That he comes up behind me and he kisses me behind my neck or blows in my ear or whatever. And let me tell you, that completely
or nibble on the ear, yeah.
that completely turns me on, you know. And it just, you know, puts thoughts in my mind.
The cooking can stop right there and then, you know.
Exactly.
We can stop the cooking and go on to something else. I told you we were not going to demonstrate, right? But, you know, in keeping it real, we really want to hear from many of you out there and your comments on how you initiate sex. And if you're willing and you're coachable to maybe explore other ways to address the brain, to stimulate the brain in your adventures and get creative. We'd love to hear some of your creative ways to stimulate the brain.
Share that.
It's going to build us up as well too.
Yeah.
We're constantly seeking to go to that next level. In many of our conversations, we talk about the next level, our relationship going to the next level, and how do we get to the next level, knowing that there's never an end in sight where you just relax. You're always striving for that next level. And we encourage many of you out there to always seek that next level, because that's part of your growth. And that means stepping outside, a little bit outside of your comfort zone. So allow yourself to step out of that comfort zone and
have those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
It's the only way that you're going to be able to get to that next level is to truly, truly, truly talk about those difficult conversations. And when it comes to intimacy, that is a tough conversation to have. But if you guys are always willing to want to take it up a notch and change things to keep it hot and spicy, those are the things that you need to do. And don't be judgmental, okay? If your spouse says, I love to suck toes or, you know, or something, and you're just like, oh my God, don't be judgmental. Those are the things that turn someone on. Be open-minded. That's very important. That is like super, 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 super important.
So we have that's definitely, we're going to dive a little bit more into that in upcoming episodes.
Yes.
Because that's a major point to your communication and being open and honest about what you're looking and what satisfies you. See, by doing that, that's what's going to prevent you from stepping outside of your relationship and seeking satisfaction to someone who might be more open-minded. So on that note, we're going to dive a little bit more into this for the future episodes, but that's all we're going to touch on today. We look forward to your comments so we can build on this topic for another episode. So until the next time, I am Mr. B, and this is
Mrs. B,
and this is Becoming for Men.
and we're becoming to women.
Have a good one.